So for a good 3 years, we weren't making money in our business.
What made you want to continue with it?
The hunger to succeed, the refusal to fail. I'm not gonna fail. I can't. It's not an option. Failing is not an option. That's the magic sauce that people don't have.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the CEOCAST. Now on today's episode, I'm with a man who's got one of the fastest growing, one of the biggest detailing companies in the world, specializing in car paint protection film, detailing, paint correction, you name it, he does it. I'm with Nabil from Topaz Detailing.
How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
You've had a busy time, like we were discussing off camera. You know, you've opened up many different branches.
Yeah.
So I thought, it's definitely time and we've got to sit down and make this happen.
Exactly. Yeah. No, definitely. Thanks for coming down. I appreciate
thank you very
it.
much. How's business been? Good?
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Touch wood. It's going well. You know, the brand, we've been building it for so many years now. So it's like, it's if you do something right for so many years, it'll start to show later on, you know, down the line, where it can start to grow, you know.
I mean, you came back 2 weeks ago, roughly 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which
exactly.
country?
Yeah. So I was in Doha.
Yep.
That was the first one. So Qatar. That was the first one that we did the official launch there. So we did a nice launch there. And the second one was Bahrain. So we were there for the F1, and also we did an open day / unofficial opening, because the official opening was done before in COVID and I couldn't travel. So, but this is basically the second opening.
No, that's beautiful. And then you were there for the Bahrain first F1 race of 2022 calendar as well, which is a beautiful thing. You can never go wrong with that.
No, exactly. I was supposed to be there in 2020, and then we got invited to go, and then after that, it's like COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then 2 years of our life got wiped away. Yeah.
Basically. This is the reason why I wanted to get you on, because you know, obviously, Topaz Detailing is such a fast-growing company into different countries as well, but also at the core of it is yourself and Maz, who have a very relatable story. For people who, you know, I know for a fact there's going to be car detailers watching this video, you know, with their caddy vans and mobile detailing and all that sort of stuff. And probably has a dream to get into this scale and this size. So I think the best thing to do to understand where we are today, let's throw it all the way back and find out exactly how you done this.
How it started. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, the thing is I would have had a lot more hair if I didn't have this business, that's for sure. I wouldn't be looking great either. No, you know what? We started this business in 2009. That was the official launch day of the actual business and corporation date. 2 years before that, we unofficially were doing work on the business, but we didn't officially do it there. So, and what I mean by that, we were researching. We didn't know what we wanted to do. I knew that I didn't want to be an employee for the rest of my life. So I was like, how can I do something that is going to be operating a business, creating something out of nothing, right? And when you haven't got a clue what you're going to do, it's hard. It's hard to really go down which route.
How old were you at the time then?
I was 22. I was 22 at the time.
So did you still have that feeling of you don't know what to do in your future, or
100%? 100%. I still don't know what I would do. No, joking aside, at 22 I didn't have a clue. I just knew that I didn't want to be working in a 9-to-5 job, earning a mediocre salary and being part of a flock. I knew that's what I didn't want to do.
Okay.
That was something that was evident to me.
What was you working as in at 22?
I was an estate agent. So I was working in estate agency. I was working property for that's my background essentially, is property.
Cool.
So for 5-6 years before that, I was working in property. Tried doing the college thing, didn't work out. Tried doing the uni thing, couldn't get in because my grades weren't strong enough.
Okay, fair enough.
So I wasn't academically interested. You know what I mean? I wanted to get out there and do it.
Why is that? Do you think you just couldn't conform to, following rules, or what was it, a situation of?
You know what? I feel like I don't think the system is
built for people like you.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I just feel like that system just wasn't made for people like me. Where it's almost like, for me, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
So if I've got a teacher in front of me who is on 22 grand a year, telling me how to run a business, I'm like, why haven't you done it?
Yeah, I couldn't get that one. But maybe it was my business teacher at the time, because
maybe it was a bad teacher. Maybe I had bad teachers. That's maybe what it is. But I couldn't relate. You know what I mean? And in my mind, I was thinking, look, it's not a show me that you've done it. So I'd go and listen to people who are business people, like my uncles or, you know, my father, and people who have had business experience. I listen to them and I'm like soaking it in. You know
what did your father do? That's interesting.
No, so he actually was in the military for 12 years in Iraq.
Was he the first generation to the country, or were you guys?
No, we were. So we moved over when I was 10.
Okay.
Yeah. But he was in the military for 10 years. So he basically had from 28 to 38. He had literally his life was on hold. So he had to start his career from 38.
In the UK?
In Iraq, in Baghdad. Yeah. So it was a hard thing for him. So the grafting, that's one thing I learned from my father, is grafting. Man, he used to be first thing in the morning, last of the bit. Yeah, and that just makes me think, you know what? That's what working means, you know, grafting.
Yeah, fair enough. So then carrying on with your time, 22 years old.
Yeah, 22 years old, wanted to do something. I thought, what am I going to do? I have to have a business of some sort, something that will make me feel like I'm accomplishing what I want to accomplish, and really making sure that I don't know, it's almost like I knew I have potential. I need to prove it to myself and to everyone else.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
So then I thought to myself, what we're going to do? We thought opening an estate agency, and that was an option. And that was a serious consideration for Mazen and I. We both knew we wanted to do something together because we're very close, you know, as brothers.
Yeah.
So we were like, we have to do something together. He was working at Foxtons, which I don't know if you know, they got the little minis that drive around.
Yeah, no, they're still about Foxtons,
Yeah. So he was working there. He was senior there in terms of Mayfair, and the role was senior. And he can leave. So he was like, whatever we're going to do, you start first.
And then I'll come
afterwards.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's exactly what happened. So then we were like, Mazen was always detailing his cars. He had a Fiat Punto, a yellow one. Mm-hmm. That was his first car when he was 16 or whatever it was, when he started driving. And he was like, he was always washing his car. And I was like, why are you washing your car so much? You know what I mean? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And
how many times can a man wash his car?
Honestly. Yeah, he was washing his car, he was detailing it, he was claying it and everything. I was like, what were you doing? And so for him, he wanted he's got OCD like I do, right? But for cleanliness and for his cars, specifically his cars. Mm-hmm. So that's where it started. That's where the whole detailing thing, we were like, should we do detailing? Should we do, actually we started doing corporate valeting.
Was detailing around back then like that?
No, it was all valeting.
Yeah, because back then, I was probably quite young, so I wouldn't have that much of a clue anyway.
Yeah.
But it seems like detailing is started growing from, I want to say, maybe the years of 2013, 14.
Yeah.
I want to say maybe around like the gumball days when everyone was around in the car scene.
Exactly.
And a lot of people's businesses grew off the back of that, basically.
Yeah. I think for us, we started banging on about it in... Yeah, I'd probably say about 2011 where we really started pushing it. 2010, 2011, 2009. That's our core. Our core was detailing.
Yeah.
So then we were like, so then I had to figure out. So within those 2 years while Maz is still working for Foxtons, I had to figure out how to detail a car and how to do it in a way where it's that no one else can do it. And because we had Mazen had a car, I had an M3 at the time. And then I put all my money into that car, basically. Yeah.
Which M3?
E46.
Cool.
No, actually, I had the E36 before that. Yeah, Evo. And I was like, we've got to detail the cars. And Maz was like, I can't find it anyway. That's why I'm trying to do it myself. Mm-hmm. At the time, there was only one person doing it, Paul Dalton, which you would have seen. This he Miracle Detail. He's the one who started really the game in the UK, with the detailing side of things. He was like using a £15,000 wax, and that caught all of the media's attention and everything. So actually, he was the first person to really push it. Yeah, exactly. But it was done. He does it himself and stuff like that. So it wasn't a business model in my mind. It wasn't a scalable business. So then we were like, we need to do something and scale it. It has to be scalable. So then we were like, at that time, I didn't even know what scalable meant. I didn't even know what it required for it to be a business. I all that kind of stuff I learned over the period, of doing it. And it was a very interesting road.
This is interesting. What did you find back then that was a scalable thing? Because if people start businesses now, sometimes the whole scalability aspect, when they think about, I want a business that's scalable, they might automatically assume, okay, I need an e-commerce online business. Sort of thing.
Exactly.
So when you thought about it being scalable, what was it with Topaz that made you think?
Different back then, really different back then, really different. So back then, there wasn't
We're talking
Amazon.
2010 on
2010, 2011. Yeah. So there wasn't. I mean, Amazon was there obviously, but it wasn't to what it is today. And so for us, scalability meant the process that I'm doing. So wherever I learned how to detail a car, how to paint correct a car, how to do a level 5, which is our signature treatment, which is sanding down and flattening down the paintwork, all the little tricks that I learned over the years of doing it, I made it into a standardized form, meaning that I trained people how to do it exactly the way. So I used to say to them, spend exactly this many minutes on this panel, do it exactly this many times, do exactly this. And it was literally down to a T. So it was like itemized, line by line.
Almost like an ingredients list.
It was, and it wasn't even just ingredients, it was ingredients and showing them how to cook it, and it needs to be like timed to the second.
So basically a whole tutorial, everything.
The whole thing.
A to Z.
A to Z, exactly. And that's how we started. That's when we were like, that's how we can scale it. So then all of a sudden, our first employee, we gave him this tuition, and then he started doing it to the quality that we're doing it. And I was like, this is scalable. You know what I mean?
The word scalable.
Yeah, exactly. This is like I can teach someone how to do something, and they can do it without me being there. You know what I mean? That's scale.
Yeah, for sure.
Little did I know that's the hardest bit, is to teach people, get them to do it exactly how you do it.
Where did you start from then? Because obviously we're in this beautiful, headquarters here right now, and to think that we're in probably the smallest room in this building. We didn't start here.
No,
you didn't start here. So
we didn't.
Where did it start? Was it on your driveway?
It started on a driveway outside my parents' house. I couldn't afford to have a unit. We had, between Mazen and I, we had it was about £14,000 startup capital.
Okay.
And that's money that was in our car. So my M3 went, and other bits of.
So you sold your car for it?
Yeah, we sold, of course. Yeah, we had to take the risk. And if we weren't living at both of us were living at my parents' house at the time. If we weren't living at our parents' house and we didn't have bills, forget it. There's no way I would have been able to do it. So I had like all the stars were aligned. So we were outside my parents' house. They were forthcoming in the sense of saying they didn't charge us rent or anything like that. And they were like, we want to start a business. Can we do it outside your driveway? And they're like, okay, fine. So they were supportive. So then that's how we started. I started doing some friends' cars, and I remember the first car that I did, and I charged £350 for a detail. That was like 5 days worth of work.
What car was that?
That was what was it called? What's that? The 3 litre rotary engine.
RX-7?
RX-7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Worst car in the world, by the way.
Worst
car in the world. The reason why I say it's the worst car in the world, because if you switch it off when it's cold, it won't switch back on again.
Well, you just wouldn't cold start?
No, well, you can't. You can cold start it.
Yeah.
You have to leave it to warm up.
Yeah.
And then you switch it off.
Okay.
And I didn't know that. And I don't think that even the owner knew that. So and every time we'd be like, we switch it off, we'd move the car, we switch it off, go do something else, come back to move the car back in, it wouldn't start. And we're like, why isn't it starting? And we were there going, join. And we're like, what is going on? Yeah, that's why I've got a special hatred for that car.
Let me ask you quickly, just off the back of that. So you charged £350 for 5 days worth of work, you said, yeah?
Yeah.
The same level of work that if you were to carry out today, how much would you be charging?
£5,000.
Okay.
Yeah, $5,000.
Okay, so that's a big jump.
It's a massive jump because you have. So I was doing it purely because of promotional. I was like, it's almost a freebie. I was just charging for material essentially.
No, 100%. £350 over 5 days. I mean, you're probably just making cost meet at that point.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely. So that's exactly why I did it. I did it just to prove that it can make a difference. What we were doing makes a difference. That's what I wanted to prove. You know what I mean?
Back then, was £350 a lot in terms of detailing? Like when you were charging friends and family and that, what they're thinking?
You know what? It wasn't a crazy amount, but it was like a good valet.
Okay.
That's what it was like. That's like you spending £350 on your car was you care for your car.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't crazy amounts, but it was a good amount.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, good amount.
So then moving on, so you started on the driveway. How many cars did you do on your driveway until you? Well, in fact, before I get to that, when did Mazin come on board with this then? When did he leave work?
So all the time when on the driveway, I was doing that by myself.
Yep.
So then what happened is Mazin then, I was like, Maz, we need to find a site. Like it's time for us to have our own unit somewhere. And then we were like, it needs to be in central London. It can't be like somewhere around the corner or in like, in Uxbridge or Hayes or Brentford, all these areas are close to us at the time, and we can find cheap rent, cheap units, big units. We were like, no, it needs to be bang in the center. You know what I mean? Because that I felt and Mazen felt, and we were right. It was a key fundamental to what we were doing.
Why so?
Because you know what? You attract in the right positioning, in the right place, you attract the right customers.
Okay.
When you attract the right, it depends all about a customer, who you're trying to attract.
Yeah.
If you're attracting people, you need to be who are wealthy, who have a lot of cars, who will spend money on their cars. You have to be in front of their face.
And what area did you go to exactly?
Kensington High Street.
Okay.
So literally right bang in the middle of where all the wealthier are.
And the way people see Kensington, Knightsbridge, them sort of areas now, affluent with cars and the wealth. Exactly. Was it like that then as well?
Yeah. But what wasn't with the cars, it was just wealth.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we started creating the scene there with cars. So people would come over after they finished their trading jobs. They'd pop in for a coffee and drink, and we had just like a lockup. Yeah. It was just a little garage that had space for 3 cars, and then my desk in the corner with a printer on it.
Okay.
That's literally, and the walls weren't even painted. We had to paint the walls. The floors were all disgusting, right? And it didn't even have insulation, so we had to put insulation in. We had to put all that kind of stuff. We did ourselves.
I might have to ask you for some pictures and put it in.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. Speak to I'll get you loads of pictures. It's mad when you see it. You're like, no way.
So how long were you there for?
We were there till, I think we were there from 2010, I want to say till about 2012, 2013, stuff like that.
And was you still yourself at this point, or you have employees?
No, at that point we had a guy Irish guy, Nick Kerwin. He's employee number 1 for Topaz.
Is he still here today?
No. He actually he's living a better life. He's gone to Marbella, just chilling by the sun. He's living a good life. He's gone to Marbella. He's working on boats now, but he wanted to have the nice sun and all that kind of stuff. So I couldn't compete with that. But he would come to us at the unit, stand outside, and be like, "I want a job." And I'm like, "Nick, we don't have a job for you, mate. I'm sorry. We can't afford to have a job for you." He's like, "I'll work for free." I'm like, "I can't do that to you. I'm not going to get you to work for me, and I'm not going to pay you anything." So then he was every day he would come back for a good 2-3 months. Every day the guy would be standing there just sitting down watching. Yeah. And I'm like, we have to give this guy a job, right? And that was really one of the most important key factors for us. And then when you look at it as a bigger picture for people who want to learn, finding the right people is number 1, the most important part of any business.
What was it about him that made you decide to give him a job in the end?
Dedication, mate. He was hungry. He was hungry, and he was like, I need to learn. I want to work with you. I need to learn. I want to do it. But
essentially at the same time, although he was hungry, he hadn't proven any skill to you.
Nothing.
So you just
had to take a risk.
Yeah.
Because we went on face value. We went on the fact that this guy, he's here every day. Yeah. And he's new in the country. He moved over from Ireland, and he was just the right character. You know what I mean? He was the right character. So we were like, let's give you a chance. And then at that point, we were barely making money to just cover our costs. At that time, we were paying £1,000 in rent a month. Okay. Plus some other bits and bobs, materials.
Yeah, you've got employees as well, then
we didn't have an employee at that time. So then at that point, we were like 2 or 3 grand a month worth of costs, and we were barely banking that. Okay. So we weren't making any money. So for a good three years, we weren't making money in our business. It was all going back in.
So then when you're doing that, not making money from your business for 2-3 years. 2-3 years is a very long time.
Hard.
What made you want to continue with it? What?
You know what? It's that's the magic sauce. Yeah. Yeah. That's the magic sauce that people don't have. You have to be consistent, persistent, keep on pushing, because if I didn't push through, if Mazen didn't push, Mazen would come back from his day job. Yeah, and that's the time when he joined. Okay. When he was able to actually get into it. We always owned the business half and half, but that's when he was able to get into it. And he'd come back in his suit. And I remember he'd come back in his suit at 8 o'clock at night, working a whole day from 8 to 8, come back, and he would start to do detailing with me. And I'll be there from 8 in the morning up till 8, and then we'll be working all the way to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we're not getting paid.
Yeah, I know. So then, what makes you want to continue that?
Yeah, I think
Because some things seem like
the hunger to succeed.
Yeah.
I think it's and the hunger to the refusal to fail. I'm not gonna fail. I can't. It's not an option. Failing is not an option. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I'll have a plan B, or do you know what? It's okay. If it's not gonna work out now, or if we're not gonna get customers, it's fine, forget it. No. It's like, we are gonna get the customer, and there is no way around it. And if we're not gonna get them now, I'm gonna keep on pushing for another 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months.
So what was the big break for you guys when you were there? When you started to maybe turn over a little bit of capital?
I think the first big step for us was we got a friend of ours introduced us to a dealer up north, Greypool, Nottingham.
Yep.
And we started doing work for them in Nottingham. So I started driving up to Nottingham to do work from London, go all the way to Nottingham. So then that started giving us a portfolio of cars that we're working on. So Ferraris, they're a Ferrari dealer.
Yeah.
So we had loads of nice Ferraris to show off and to do work on, and that even though it was in Nottingham, there was a lot of work. There was a lot of people talking about us.
And quick one, just to tie this in, because I don't think we spoke about it.
Yeah.
Because you were traveling, was this the point where you had your own Topaz van?
Yes, that was our first initial bit of capex.
Okay.
So that was our initial 14 grand that we had.
Yep.
We paid 10 grand for the van.
Yep.
We paid 9 grand for the van, £1,000 for putting decals and doing bits on it, and we paid 3.5 grand for a jet wash, and that was it. We're done. And like £500, so a grand of buckets and one machine and other accessories, which I have the invoice upstairs in my office.
Yeah. Somehow get some cinematics for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can't remember how much the total bill was, but yeah, it was that was our first purchase.
Can I ask why you still have the invoice?
I think that invoice reminds me of what it was like back then with costs. It reminds me how hard or how horrible it felt to spend that much money on something that I didn't know was going to be fruitful. I didn't know it was going to be paying us or not. Yeah, so it was a risk, you know what I mean? So at that time, if I say to you, it's all relative to how much you have, right? If you've got £1,000 and I say to you, put £900 into something, you're like, that's like 90% of my money. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's all relative.
Are you sure about this sort of thing?
It's all relative. So that's why I kept it, framed it, and it's the first invoice.
Yeah, to be fair, on a same ethos, obviously complete different scale. When I first started CEOCAST, I had a camera for £30, got it off my sister, and I still have that on my office desk when I'm there just editing and whatnot, and to look at it.
But you see, that's why you go for the same reason. Why do you have that sentimental value?
Yeah, because it throws you back to where you've come from and keeps you humble in that sense.
That's it, exactly. Yeah, because it always keeps you. It reminds you that where did you start and what you were thinking at that time when you got that camera, or you got that invoice, or whatever it is. What were you thinking? What was your mind going through? Same thing when you hear a song. If it takes you back, you're like, what stage of my life was I in?
Yeah, no, 100%. It brings back emotional and, what's the word? Sentimental memories, 100%, essentially.
100%. Yeah. And you use that to propel you forward.
So then continuing with your story.
Yeah.
So where were we at?
So then we got this location. Mazen found this location in High Street Ken. It was run down. But it was the luck of strike. Honestly, we were like, thank God we found this location. Yeah, that was the first step. And then when it started really, the question was, when did it pick up? When did it start to?
Yeah, the first turning point of
where. Yeah. And that was really when we had HRO come through, and a lot of the VIPs from HRO would come to us directly, and we're building our client base at that point. They'd come to us directly and they'd say, guys, I'm getting a car from Ferrari, I'm getting a car from Lamborghini, I'm getting a car from my Bentley. I want you to check the car to see if it's all right. And we would genuinely find faults with the car. So then we would then tell the customer who is a VIP would go back to the dealer and go, guys, this is not acceptable, You have to pay Topaz to do the work. Okay. To rectify it. Yeah. So after a few times this happened, they had the big boss from HRO just come up one day, just come to the thing. He's like, guys, I'm He was like, I'm the regional director here, and I want to do something with you guys.
And so this is the point where you're still in High Street Kensington as well?
We're still High Street Kensington. So he had the foresight to go, actually, let me get these guys on board before we get more customer complaints. So actually, it was a very clever move from his perspective too, because he managed to contain any issues that he would get from manufacturers that then go onto his customers by putting us in the middle.
And you know, to his respect as well, the cars that your HRO dealing with, you don't want to have customers complaining with that level of car.
Of course not, and he saw that, and that's why he was like, this is not acceptable. So let's get them. And so that we started detailing every single car that came through their door. We started detailing them.
And what sort of cars were they?
All Ferraris. Yeah, back then it was it wasn't really 430s. It was 458 time.
Okay.
That kind of thing, 458s and all that kind of stuff.
So it must have been around 2012, 13 sort of time.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. That's when the 458 was basically brand new.
That's it. Yeah. That's exactly it. So it was 458 time and we were doing all those,
So then at that time, is that when you had your taste of like high clientele contract work?
Yes.
Okay.
Trade work, we call it.
Trade work, yeah.
Yeah. That's when we were like, actually, we can start to get some bread and butter through this. And it was bread and butter. It wasn't high paying work, but all of a sudden we were like, all these dealers are talking about our brand and just all of these super high net worth individuals. So then you can see how it just started branching out.
And transpiring, basically.
Yeah, because people were, so HRN were like, you got to use Topaz because they're the best in the business. So you had like, we had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people.
Yeah.
All have the ears of these multimillionaires. And then they're like, oh, Topaz, who's Topaz? And they keep on talking about Topaz. So it was like a marketing thing for us. That's why the price, I didn't mind it being low because I knew it would get us to the next stage.
Let me ask you off the back of that, surely at that point, there must have been, as we mentioned, around the Gumball days and whatnot, more detailing car valet companies popping up. Yeah. So what made Topaz and what still makes Topaz detailing different to everyone else?
Yeah. It's, there is, honestly, for every week that goes past, I swear, there's probably about 10 new PPF and detailing shops that open up in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, every week that goes past. And then every 2-3 weeks that go past, I hear of 9 that have gone a bit out of bust or have gone out of business.
Yeah.
Because they just, for whatever reason, can't do it or not do it or didn't pay them or this, that. But it's becoming difficult because it's blurring the lines of what the customer should expect. And it's almost like it's making the price point so low that unless you are working by yourself, not in a business, don't have any overheads, that's the only time you can actually earn a living out of it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you get those people, you will get them, and they'll be limited, and customers can see through that. They're not going to give their car to a garage, which is not insured, to just like some random place around the corner.
Yeah.
With us, when we were in the middle of Kensington, we had all the insurances, we had all the know-how, we had all the people saying, use Topaz. Even then, even at that point, there was still like, oh, should I leave my car here? Should I leave my car here?
Level of skepticism.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So, that's why now you're sitting in this kind of place where it's like, it's a proper outfit.
So off the back of that, with the place that we're in today, do you, after what you've just said, do you feel like this is necessary to show customers and your clients that this is the levels that we're speaking, basically? Yeah,
I think so. I think, from a couple of aspects. One, from more importantly, our actual work, because you see the lights. You see there's so many different lights everywhere.
I was literally saying to you off camera, this is the first time in a podcast where we don't need to set up our own lighting.
Yeah.
Why would you need to? We've got detailing lighting.
Exactly.
It's the best lighting you can get.
That's it. Exactly. And that's why you'll see in every different room and every different part of the thing, you've got lights everywhere. And that's because it gives us the ability to see what we're doing.
Yeah.
So from a functional standpoint, you need that. And then afterwards, from a customer perspective, a customer journey. So quality of work, for me, my 2 pillars: quality of work, customer journey.
Yep.
Quality of work, lighting, you need it to be able to get the quality. Customer journey, you want them to come to a place that's a proper outfit.
Yeah, you want them to feel prestigious.
Of course. And that's why this is actually, I'm telling you the first person, because I've signed the contract now so I can speak about it. The Peninsula, there's going to be a Peninsula in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the first 6-star or 7-star hotel in London. It's going to be the most prestigious.
You're gonna have a Topaz.
We're gonna be in there. Yeah.
Congratulations! That one.
Exactly. Thank you.
When's that starting? When's that opening?
Hopefully, 2023 at some stage. Yeah. So it'll be probably Q2 2023 next year. So we're going to be there. We're going to have a presence in central London again. You know, we moved out of central London to get to Premier Park because
essentially we're still around the corner from central.
Still around the corner, but I want to be like bang in there again. Yeah, just because it services the maintenance side and the detailing. We're not going to do PPF out there because you need a lot more space for PPF.
Yeah.
But we're going to be doing detailing, maintenance washers, all the servicing in terms of the maintenance side and enhancement side of our business. We're going to be doing it in the Peninsula. So we got downstairs in the basement, we've got bays, we're going to have Topaz signs. Upstairs in the foyer, we're going to have a Topaz little area. So it's cool.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one.
So exactly.
Maybe we'll get another
we're always
podcast
pushing it, always levels. There's levels and levels. We're always pushing it.
You know what? I want to speak more on that. We'll speak more on that later on in the podcast.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's definitely an exciting thing to talk about. And there's so much between that anyway. Off the back of that, how do you guys ensure that, you know, customers are still rolling through the door?
Yeah, I know.
How do you keep them there?
You know, we started off by doing word of mouth was the biggest way of getting people to come through the door. That was definitely the most successful part of trying to bring customers in.
Yeah.
It's the consistency, the continuous strive to give the two pillars: customer service, quality, and customer service. If you don't do that, if those slack, you're only as good as your last job. And that's the unfortunate thing in this business, is that you will get judged on your last job and last job only. You know, if you did one bad job, that's it. You're toast, you know?
Yeah, but then off to that customer, but then maybe to other customers might be different. I don't know, you tell me how it works.
Yeah, you know what, it will be different. There's customers out there who don't care about quality, who just care about price.
Yeah.
They're not really our customer. That's, you know, there's a customer for everyone, right? You got customers for McDonald's, you got customers for Burger King, customers for Gordon Ramsay. There's customers all for everything, right? So we're not the cheapest. That's because we spent the right amount of time on it. We have the right infrastructure. I mean, right now we've got, where we are here, we've got over 50 staff, and there is a skill set for each individual aspect. You know, the value chain is quite large in our business.
So talk to me, because, you know, going back to what you said about Hyde Park, you're going back into central London.
Yeah.
You were once in central London, and now you've taken yourself out of central London.
That's it.
What was the reason for moving into here? Obviously, aside from the space.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, what point did you move into here?
you know, at 2013, 2012, 2013, HRO at the time, they just moved. They're in Premier Park. They've moved here.
Oh, you talk about the one near Acton, am I right?
That used to be, that one. It was a Lamborghini, Rolls Royce, Bugatti. That's. I think they're going to be closing that down soon. But that was there.
Okay.
But there's Ferrari, which are here, which our biggest client was Ferrari.
Okay.
And it still is Ferrari in terms of and closely by Lamborghini. They're like to us, we're moving here. And we want you to keep on servicing our cars.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to keep on detailing them. So I was like, again, another taking the plunge. We put in a big deposit. Again, most of the money that we saved up, we put into the site. We spent 100 grand, 150 grand on
this place.
No, this was the place next door.
Oh, okay.
So we moved from there as well. There was a place literally next door. And then so we did all the capex on that. We spent 150 grand. It was about 50 grand worth of deposit, and and then we had to hire more staff. So there was a lot of outlay. Yeah. You know what I mean? There was a lot of outlay.
Big risk, would you say, at the time?
Huge risk. Yeah. But then we at that time, that's when we got our first shareholder on board.
Okay.
So then we sold a small part of our business to a shareholder. He put capital injection into the business for our shares, and we put that money back in. So we didn't take it off the table. A lot of people, when they sell part of their business, they take it off the table and go buy watches and cars and stuff. We put it back into the business again.
Okay, fair play.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, I mean, someone could take that money for salary essentially and buy themselves a nice.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Depending on what kind of purchasing of the business happens, usually if you sell a part of your business, most of the time you would negotiate for it to be off the table, meaning that it's not going to stay within the business. You're taking whatever the value of the shares are because they're yours. You own those shares.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And then someone's buying into it.
So then you do that. But we are like back to our ethic of keep on reinvesting in the business.
So that was next door.
Yeah.
And then you moved into here.
So next door, and then we needed the space.
Okay.
So then we took this space too. This is after fast forwarding another 3 years.
Yeah, and just to picture in my head, how much bigger is this place compared to that place next door?
This place with that, because it didn't have the mezzanine.
Oh, did it not? Okay.
So it was just one floor.
Yep.
And then that was 50% bigger than the last one.
Okay, cool.
So the last one was about 7,000 square foot. This one is about 9,000 square foot, something like that.
Okay, and then
and then I doubled it.
Yeah.
Then I put less than double, because it eats up some space when you do a mezzanine. But yeah, so now we're about 12,000 square foot, 13,000 square foot in this site. So then I decided to get rid of that site, bring it into here.
Yep.
Go higher.
Yep.
So our we're not paying double rent essentially, and then I opened up a site in Bristol.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, you've expanded massively. Bristol opened in maybe what year? 2015.
That was 3 years ago now.
It was only 3 years ago, so it's still recent to be fair.
Yeah. So 3.5 years ago. So yeah, we're third year operating. Yeah, so we opened it 3.5 years ago. We started working on it 4 years ago.
Yeah. So now that, I'm sure by this point everyone knows what Topaz is through what you're saying and everything.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your whole expansion and everything because, Bristol, was that the first
expansion?
Yeah, first expansion one.
Yeah.
In 3 years ago, so that would be in 2019, roughly?
Yeah, about 2018, 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
What was the decision for going to Bristol?
It was, again, I told you at the beginning of the podcast, beginning of the video, it's about the people. Mm-hmm. And at the time, we had one of our big customers was Dick Lovett in Swindon.
Yep.
Again, Ferrari dealer. And we did a lot of cars for them. And the general manager there he came in, his name is Greg, he came in and he was like, I need to talk to you guys about margin. We've been doing work for them for 2 years.
Yep.
And he was like, we're talking about margin. I want to squeeze you down to give me more margin, give me more discount so we can make more margin as a business. Mm-hmm. So then after he left, he was upstairs for 2.5 hours. After he left, an hour later, he calls me on my mobile. He's like, Nabil. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I got an idea. I'm like, what? He's like, I want to open up Topaz for you. I said, what do you mean? He's like, I want to be part of your team. Mm-hmm. And that time, he was like, he came negotiating on behalf of Ferrari, and then he was like, I need to be part of your team. After being with us for 2.5 hours, he's like, I need to be part of your team. So I was like, look, just think about it. Go to sleep.
Sleep on it.
And we'll talk later. And then after that, he was like, for a good month, 2 months, he kept on talking back. But 6 months, we're talking back and forth. He was like, I'm dead serious. I'm like, okay, cool. Do you know what I'll do? I'll invest in it. I'll fund it. Maz and I will fund it, invest in it. It will give you sweat capital, sweat equity. So then you own 10% of the business, and that'll go up year on year. And then he did it, and he loves it.
So then why Bristol?
There's a good hub of supercars there. Okay. There's a lot of wealth in that area. It's actually the second largest financial district apart from central London.
Is it?
From London.
I didn't know
in
that.
the UK.
I thought it would have been somewhere like Manchester.
No, it's from a financial.
Quite big as well,
financial district. It's actually in Bristol. Believe it or not. Yeah, so, exactly. From the markets and all that kind of stuff, right? The financial world.
So let me ask you: when he came to you and said, "I want to open a Topaz," did you have Bristol in your mind already?
No, because we had one big customer there, and we were like, in time, if the relationship develops, then we'll do it.
Okay.
But it wasn't like, we're going to do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, so you already had a customer from Bristol bringing the cars all the way here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Exactly, yeah. So that's the Dick Lovett Swindon. Yeah. That's the guy.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
That's the Ferrari dealer.
Yeah,
in Bristol.
No, smashed it to be fair. I mean, that's just one thing. That's just in Bristol. And then after that, you opened, I want to, maybe Doha after that?
So then it was Bristol. And then after that, we then took a break because we had to the first expansion, you learn a lot. You learn a lot of what you need, what you don't need, how much things are going to cost, how repayment is going to be like, all that you learn. Yeah. So the first one for me was a learning curve.
Learning of like the franchise model almost.
It was not a franchise, it was company owned. It was company owned, but it was more about learning about what support we need to give from London to be able to get it to be a successful operation.
Okay, cool.
At that time, we had one of our paint protection film installers, Brandon, who was working here. He moved over there, so he was situated there. We had Sunil, one of our top guys here, who's also one of the managers here. He went over there and started setting up all the detailing side of things.
Yep.
So we have to have people from here to go there and assist with the setup and the training. That at the time when you don't have enough of those people and the right skill set or right quality or right individual is impossible to do. You can't do everything yourself.
No, of course not.
You're never gonna be able to do it. So then at that time we were like, cool, we need to work on getting more of these people to be on our team so that we can now push. When we fast forward, then that's why you see our expansion is now accelerated much faster now, and it'll keep on accelerating. So from that aspect, then we had Woking.
Yep.
So Woking was for McLaren. So we were doing direct work for McLaren at the factory. So we had a site in Woking.
In McLaren headquarters.
In McLaren headquarters.
That's sick.
Yeah. So we had a site there.
Yep.
And then after that, so that was our third expansion, but it wasn't a full official site, but it was an off-site. It
was still there.
It was still there.
Yeah.
And it still is there. Then we did Bahrain. That was our first international site. And it was, again, the first one. We didn't want it to be Dubai because Dubai was a natural choice, right, to do it there.
Why so?
Because of the wealth that's there, the car scene.
I've heard
crazy.
Bahrain has got a lot more wealth than Dubai.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, but there's loads of families. I mean, the sort of the actual Emirati families, the actual Bahraini families and stuff like that. They're obviously all super wealthy and super nice people, really nice people. Everyone that we meet from the royals, they're just amazing people.
How did it work with Bahrain? Was that a franchise or was that still you?
That was officially a franchise, but it was more of a JV. It's set up like a franchise.
Yeah.
So the usual franchising thing, but we don't charge for every single aspect because we want it to be successful.
And JV meaning joint venture.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So it's almost like where for example, if you got a Subway franchise, they'll charge you for training.
Yep.
They'll charge you for the material. You'll make money, make a lot of money on the material. They make money on the top line thing. So we have on the top line thing, we still have that. We still charge on the top line because it's simpler. But on the training, we'll send out someone without charging.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or if there's a call, for example, if there's a WhatsApp group, there is calls that Mazen's on the phone to the guys. There's the team here that we have calls regularly.
Yeah.
All these kind of things are all stuff that I just said we have to have in because we need to support our partners.
No, 100%. I mean, if you are essentially, whether it be franchise, whether it be joint venture, at the end of the day, it's still got the Topaz Detailing name on it.
That's it.
So you wanted to retain the same
100%,
service.
100%. Yeah. So that's exactly why. So we're like, it is a franchise, but it's not really a franchise, if you know what I mean.
Fair enough.
So that was Bahrain. That was the first one. And after that, Doha, so Qatar, recently. Obviously, we've been working on that for 2 years now.
Okay.
Because of the whole COVID thing and everything else like that, it's just, again, it destroyed everything for us. So that should have actually opened in end of 2020, start of 2021.
So similar around the same sort of time as Bahrain.
That's right. Yeah. So it actually was. We were seeing which one's going to go first.
How did that come about then?
Was that Doha?
Yeah.
So we had a call from. I get probably about 3 to 5 inquiries a month on franchising and partnering up, and they want the Topaz brand, and this can be everywhere from India to South Africa to Australia, to all parts of the world, Nigeria, everywhere. So then I'm like, we're very selective on because they need to be on the same mindset as us. So then I got a message and saying, this person. Sheikh Mohammed Al Thani wants to come and see you guys. And if you Google him and know who he is, he's a very prominent person there. He's essentially a royal. And but he's also I didn't know what to expect. So then Sheikh Mohammed came, and from the first few things he was saying, I was like, this guy he gets it. He gets it. And he just gets it. And the first thing, he's a very, very influential man. His father, extremely wealthy, very successful. They've got huge businesses. But Topaz for him was a passion. So he was like, but there's one prerequisite if we do this together. I said, what is that, Sheikh? And he's like, quality needs to be like London, if not better. And I was like, thank you for saying that.
Because it makes your life easier.
Yeah.
You know what to expect.
I know what to expect. And that's exactly it. When he said that, I was like, he's the right partner. Yeah, he's the right partner. So that's how that happened. And similarly with Bahrain, when our partners there, who are the Al-Haddad family, again, a very, very distinguished family. They have Mercedes over there.
Yeah.
So
what do you mean they have Mercedes?
They have Mercedes franchise.
Oh,
so
okay.
The Mercedes franchise. So they supply a lot of the Middle East, I think. But mainly, obviously, Bahrain and some parts of Saudi. And again, when we spoke to them, they're like, they were very, very nice, forthcoming, and so we just knew that they're the right people.
Have you got any videos of the places on your YouTube channel?
There's loads coming up, because we did all of the different things. So speak to Thomas and he'll give you loads of
hopefully you get some footage, because I was watching your live when you were out there. I think it was the Bahrain one where it's in the shopping center, right? Or is that's
the Doha one?
That's Doha one.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite cool. I was like, how did you get Topaz in the shopping center?
I know.
Yeah, because I mean, for the Londoners watching this, it's like going to Westwood and there's a
showroom there. Exactly. Yeah. So it was actually a bowling alley before.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It was a bowling alley. So then they sent me the thing to say, look, this is what we have. Is this workable?
Yeah.
And the Sheikh owns the mall. So for him, it was like, I would love it if it was in one of my properties. So then he was like, there is a site there. Does this work? And then I do all the design. So basically, I tell them, this is the design that needs to happen. This is how it needs to work. And then this is what it needs to look like.
Yeah.
Let's crack on. You know what I mean? So then that's exactly what we did. So it was worked out really, really well.
No, because that's solid. Any more branches coming along? Or
there are, there's quite a few actually. So we're looking at Dubai is one that's in the making at the moment as we speak. So we're just searching for a site. So that one is going to be the next immediate one. We also have Germany that we're looking at, that we're talking about. Again, we just want to make sure that it's done correctly. There's a few other ones as well, which I don't want to mention just yet because I'm not 100% sure, but we have a few in the pipeline. My pledge to my shareholders and to the rest of the team is that I want to open up 2 to 3 sites a year.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the plan. So international sites, that's what's happening international. National, there's more action happening. So we have Leeds, that's opening soon.
Yeah.
I already got the site. So that construction is going to be starting in the next month, and Southampton as well.
Okay, so you're going to have 4 in the UK.
4 in the UK, and then after that we'll move up to Scotland, and then probably Manchester, and probably one in Birmingham. I'd want to have one in every single major city.
I mean, considering you were here first, and the first one being Bristol.
Yeah.
Did you think that this would be part of your plan?
No, I thought the UK is going to be first.
Yeah.
I thought UK is going to be the first ones that we expand to, and then international is a far-fetched thing.
Yeah.
But no, actually, international
came first,
and it's strong, and it keeps on going.
Yeah, I mean, so probably a matter of time before you move to UAE.
Yeah, I know. I love that tax-free living, mate. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but with my family here and everything, so it's. But yeah, Mazen for sure. He'll be in the Middle East.
Yeah, fair enough. So as well as expansion of physical branches, you guys expanded into a whole different pillar into the business. So for this whole time, Topaz had been doing enhance, protect, and maintain, right? And then. I want to say 2018 brought out Topaz Skin.
Yes, yeah.
Which was color change.
That's right.
And
exactly.
that was we launched as a collaboration with Yiannimize.
Yes,
right?
yeah, exactly.
And I mean, you guys talked through it today, so I want to know what was the whole ethos behind color change.
Yeah. It was a requirement because I never liked having vinyl on my car, right? So I always used to tell Jan this. I'm like, vinyl, don't put it on my car. You know what I mean? Unless it's matte. Yeah. Matte is okay, or satin is okay, but gloss
has the orange peel effect in it.
Peel, and
you can't get rid of that.
You know me, like you saw. I'm like OCD. I can't deal with it. So I was like, I need to find a solution for gloss paint. And that's exactly what we did. So there was a company that kept on chasing me saying, use our product. We used it, we tried it, it was okay. Then we developed it with them. So they were like, okay, let's keep on using it. How can you change this? Make this faster, make this better, make this glossier.
Yeah.
So by the time we got to it, I was 18, 19. And then we were like, yeah, we're ready for this.
Yeah.
And so then we decided to obviously open up upstairs the spray booth, and we started doing it more efficiently. And then for me, initially I was going to do a lower price point. I was going to do about 6, 7, 8K for a whole skin job. but the amount of work required for the quality that we wanted, again, it was a test pilot. So it's a very, very niche product now. We don't push it very hard because it's almost like it's a full respray. So you don't make huge amount of money on it.
Yeah.
But it's a very...
So much labor that goes into it.
So much labor. You're basically having to strip down the whole car.
Yeah.
Mask up the whole car.
As if it's an actual paint job.
Actual paint job. And it's even more than that because when you're putting on the product, you have to be so careful that it doesn't go on areas that you don't want it to go on.
Yeah.
And also, when you're putting on the product, it needs to be a certain thickness for it to be able to be removable afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's a proper nightmare. Like to do the work, it's a proper. So that's not a product that I'm going to scale. That's going to be just something that's there if people want it, and if they want the best color change in the world, that's what it is.
So once you've done that, you would say there's not much. You're not going to push it as hard and market it as hard as you could.
Yeah, because it's not scalable.
Okay.
It's just the skill set is very high.
Yeah.
The product is great.
Yeah.
The finish is incredible. But to be able to do it and do many of it, you need to be attaching it onto a body shop.
Yeah.
But then when you attach it onto a body shop, it's not compatible that much.
Yeah, especially with a detailing environment. It's got to be clean, crisp environment. Clean, crisp,
exactly. So that's why it's not. So it's almost like you need it in a body shop environment, but it can't have a body shop environment. And then but again, that's something that we can look at in the future. We may do a body shop later.
Have you thought about the possibility of potentially selling the idea of Topaz Skin on, or selling that as its own entity, sort of thing?
Yeah. The issue is I don't like selling something that has my brand on it.
Okay, because you don't know where it's going to go from there.
Yeah. So I have to have control. So with all our JVs, franchises, we have full control, of everything that's happening, especially the quality and the customer journey.
So then I mentioned that, the collaboration launched with Yanni from Yiannimize.
Yeah.
So what happened with that? Because obviously he does his rapping, he does color changing. He's been doing that for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I don't see him, mention or push, let's say, Topaz Skin. I don't want to do like a he said, she said sort of thing. I just want to understand
because we have a great relationship. We did the car wow thing only a few.
I saw that. You were in your GT2, right?
We were at the same time, and I was in the GT2, and he was in. I think he was driving 765 or something.
Yeah.
On another video, but it's almost. He was super excited about the product. I was super excited about the product. It was almost like something where we can push it together. But then I feel like it could have had some effects on his business because obviously you're going against rapping, although it's a different price point.
Yeah.
But initially, because the price point was closer to rapping, it could cannibalize his business a little bit.
Yeah, because essentially, like you said, you're getting paint quality.
Yeah, it's a different level of quality, right, to rapping. So like, the finish, that 4GT behind you could be a skin. You would never know.
Yeah, no.
Literally, I can tell you that car is white, but actually it's actually blue. You would never know. That's how good it is. But I think because the price point was low at that point as well, I think we both were like, actually, is this gonna start to cannibalize? And the last thing I want to do is take food away from him.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So we were like, okay, I don't think it's gonna work at this level. But then. That's why we increased the price point later on, and naturally, that's what happened.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to kind of get to, or last couple of things, shall I say, is obviously, you have your channel, and people might know of you from the likes of, I don't know, Shmee, TGE, many other influencers. So I want to kind of understand your whole business model and relationship with them. Yeah. And, is it a case of you guys promote my product and promote Topaz and you get discount, or how does it work? Do you guys have an influencer marketing strategy?
Yeah, we do. So it really depends on the influencer. It depends if I get on with them as well, because I feel like they need to
have a personal relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So with Tim, we've got a personal relationship for years now.
Yeah.
We look after his cars. He's got a massive following and a collection of cars. So I actually genuinely want the product on thing. And every time we go through it, he wants to pay, and I'm like, you're not paying. You know what I mean? It's because we have that kind of relationship. You know what I mean? But depending on each influencer, some influencers we have to charge something for because again the reach is not high. But other influencers we would do the work for free because I feel like in my mind I'm like
you're gonna get customers off the back of that person.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm like that's marketing. You know, that's a marketing budget, and I never used to do marketing before. I used to be word of mouth. So that was a...
No, I mean, essentially, you guys do your own marketing nowadays as well, because your YouTube videos have picked up massively as well.
That's
I believe you got a video with near 5 million views on that.
Well, we have a video that's 25 million views.
Oh, damn, okay.
Yeah, 25 million views. That's the Rolls Royce.
The Rolls Royce, is that the one where it's getting like a stage 7?
No, that was just, I think it was
because
just...
there's ones that on top of my mind is the fastest detail in the world with the Koenigsegg.
Yeah.
Then you've got one with the Maybach, where it's getting,
a couple million,
the paint's getting, essentially stripped.
Most popular, here we go. So we got 26 million.
On which one?
Is this the biggest car we've ever protected?
Is that the Rolls Royce?
Brand new Rolls Royce Phantom. Yeah, Phantom 8.
Okay, so that's a recent video as well then?
No, that's 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was still recent then, isn't it? For it to be Phantom 8, yeah.
Yeah, 3 years ago. And then we also did the Koenigsegg, that was 3.2 million views. The SL, How to Restore 30-year-old SL, that was 2.7 million. Then the Veneno 2.3, 1.9, 1.5. Yeah, so there's some videos that have gone really viral.
And I can imagine off the back of that, you must have had a lot of probably customers or clients saying, I've seen this video.
Yeah.
You guys are the ones to come to.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Actually, one of the ones that we've had the most talk about is, I don't know if you've seen it, the GT2 RS, where we changed the color from silver to a green to match the Ferrari.
Yeah.
And we also did the interior on that car was incredibly done.
Is that? Oh yes, that's when you had the interior. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like a beige brown.
Yes, Koyo. So that's Ferrari beige. And we sent it off. We did the designs on it. We sent it off to Germany to get it done, the official place where all the Porsche Classic work is done. And we spent about 100 hours on that interior, just designing it and going through every detail.
Bloody hell, that's crazy.
Yeah. That was a masterpiece, though.
Yeah. So throwing it back to what you mentioned about Hyde Park, this is going to be the last point I mentioned in the podcast as well. You this whole time you've come away from Central London, you've expanded across the world, and now you're going back into Central London, the heart of Central London. Yeah. Now, is that a case of just because you want to be there for throwback's sake, or because you want to kind of make a statement that we are around and we will always be around to the whole Central London?
I think it's everything happens in the right timing. Timing is key, and I think at the time now where we have clients that we've lost contact with because we're not in Central, and they're busy. All our clients most of the time are busy. They haven't got the time to bring their car here, or if they do bring it here, it's usually done on a truck and they don't come themselves. They're not here.
100%.
So then I thought to myself, it'd be a good way of us getting closer to our clients again by offering washing services and detailing services at a faster rate. So and availability is be more available. Then it depends. We'll see what happens. but it's and the fact that we've got a really good relationship with the Kaduri family, who own Peninsula, and they're like, we would love you to be in our hotel.
Place,
and when they say we'd love to be in a hotel, you've got to be in the hotel, right?
So we've just, I know this is another question, but off the back of that, because you know these families, do they give you discounts at the rates or?
Well, at the hotel, I'm sure they look after me, but I don't know how. I haven't asked.
So you still have to pay?
We still have to pay.
Fair enough.
But I did say to them, I will be coming in for coffees a lot. And they said, that's fine, the coffee's on us.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Nabil, I want to thank you very, very much for coming on the podcast.
No, thanks very much.
I appreciate it a lot and sharing your story with the audience. One final thing, are you all right to do a giveaway or something?
Yes, man, we can do a giveaway one of these.
Yeah?
Yeah, we can do a giveaway one of these. So however way you want to do this. So this is one of the things that we started doing. I personally worked on is our car care range, because obviously Topaz isn't a cheap service, right? It's not something that everyone can do. But these products, I wanted to develop something where I can get into everyone's hand that likes.
The general public can do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and every single one of these products I've developed, for example, this one has a Ventus Creed in it.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Okay. Well, as in the perfume.
as actual perfume, because part of it where I used to have a Ventus Creed all the time.
What is it exactly? What do you do with this?
This is a quick detailer. So that you'd use that after you've washed your car.
Yeah.
And you want to get rid of any smear marks, watermarks, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You spray that on with a cloth, wipe it up, and it'll look as glossy. So, and all these products.
That's one way to pick up the girls.
There you go. So all these products all have all been used here for years and years and years, and I'm happy to now offer them to the general public, including the cloths and everything. So we can do a giveaway of all of the stuff that you see here, basically. So that all these 6 products go into here, and then all of these cloths go into here as well. And that you can put either in your garage or in your car. So when you're traveling, you always have something to wash your car with.
Yeah, so if people go, I don't know, if people have a nice car and they go to car shows and whatnot,
they got everything in there that they need to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do that. I think I don't even know how much the retail is. I think it's 150 quid or something, 160 quid.
No, I think that'd be a wicked thing to give away. So if you guys want to win that, all you got to do is make sure you like this video. Well, firstly, actually, you have to be subscribed to the channel because that's the way you get into it in the first place. Like the video, comment, but the main thing is I want you to comment your favorite thing about Nabil's journey, or the favorite thing that Nabil stands by, or something you've taken from Nabil's journey in general overall. Other than that, follow us both on social media at Topaz Detailing, at Nabil Naamo. Yeah. Everything's in the description below. Until then, I'll catch you guys on the next episode of CEOCAST.
See you later, guys.